Today is Thursday, May 15th, 7:53 a.m. I'm getting ready for work. Need to be there at 9. I had to do 100 burpees this morning because I broke a promise to myself. So a part of that deal was I had to do 100 burpees, which I can get into later. It wasn't fun. But yeah, 12-hour shift today. It's going to be another day at work. I was about to say another long day, but I'm used to 12-hour shifts because that's all I do. So it's going to be a good day. It's going to be a good day. It is raining outside, or at least at the moment it's quite damp. So hopefully it doesn't start pouring on my walk back to work. Hopefully it doesn't start pouring on my way to work. But other than that, I'm ready. A little bit tired today. I don't know if you could tell. A little bit sluggish, but we got a good day ahead of us. So hopefully it's a good day at work. Hopefully no problems. Everything goes smoothly. Get to meet new people. Get to interact with my coworkers, which is cool. Try to be as social as possible. Try to be as personable as possible, and get my job done effectively. That's really it, man. So I'll catch you later.
What's good? So, I'm leaving my work now. I wanted to try something a little different because I wasn't really able to sit inside and talk. But I was like, you know what? Let me talk while I'm walking. I have a feeling my arm is going to get tired doing this whole walk and talk type of a thing. On my way back home now. Solid day at work. Can't complain. Definitely busier than last week. Last week, bro, one of the days I did nothing. But today, I did a lot. I did a lot of work today. So that was cool. I don't mind when it's busy, to be honest. At times it could be annoying. But I also think the annoying part comes from like some of the patients. Some of the patients be needy as hell. And it's different being like sick and being needy. And everyone's sick in their own right, but some people are like, they kind of perfectly fine. They be, can you do this? Can you do that? Can you this? Can you that? I'm like, you keep stopping the scan so much, you know what I mean? But overall, it was a great day. What I kind of want to get into a little bit is, earlier I said I did burpees because I broke a promise to myself. And here's the thing I'm trying to instill. And this is what I think is very important, is you have to keep the promises you make to yourself. Whatever those promises may be, you have to keep them. Yeah, I'm in the hood, so we gotta look back. You gotta keep the promises that you make to yourself. They're very important. And the reason why I think it's so important too is because it builds confidence within yourself. Because if I say, hey, I'm gonna do something, right? And you tell yourself, hey, I'm going to do something, but then you don't hold that promise, can you trust yourself? Because it's the same goes for if someone else tells you they're going to do something for you and then they don't. Do you really trust that person? Well, no. Why? Because they can't be a person of their word. But a part of being a person of your word is also being a person of your word to yourself. And I think that's way more important. I think it's important to be a person of your word regardless. But the reason why I say it's more important to be a person of your word, at least to yourself, is because you spend every waking moment with yourself. You're always with yourself. There's never a time you're not with yourself. That's just not how things work. You're always with yourself. You always talk to yourself. You always have some type of inner dialogue with yourself. You go to sleep with yourself. You wake up with yourself. You go through your day with yourself. When you're alone, you're never alone because you always have you. And God, of course. But that's why it's important, because you got to be able to trust yourself. There are going to be times when you need to depend on yourself. You need to be dependable. And you have to depend on yourself to get certain things done. How can you depend on yourself if you can't trust yourself? How can you depend on yourself if you can't stick to your word? It's that simple. So that's why today I punished myself, because I told myself, listen, I'm not gonna do this. I did it anyway. And I was like, well, I broke that oath with myself. So how do I punish myself? Well, my punishment was 100 burpees. That was my punishment. So I woke up this morning bright and early. I did 100 freaking burpees. And was I happy? No, because I didn't want to do 100 burpees. But I'm trying to train myself and condition myself to stick to what I say and make myself understand that, listen, there's consequences to not listening to yourself. There's consequences to not being able to stick to your word, especially when it comes to yourself. So that's what I did. So I had to pay the consequence. And hopefully now I don't break any more promises to myself. Another thing that I do a lot of burpees with too is cursing. I try not to curse. Trey does the same thing. And every time we curse, it's five burpees. I said I'm not gonna curse, and when I do curse, I got to, a price has to be paid, man. A price has to be paid. Pay that price. But at least this way, I know, hey, I'm not playing. This ain't no joke. This is not a joke. I don't care if it's myself. I don't care if no one's ever gonna know that I broke that promise, because no one would know, but I know. And that's what makes it important. Yeah, no one's gonna know, but I'll always know. I'll always know. And I'm gonna have to sleep with that. I'm gonna have to deal with that. So what do? I punish myself to let myself know, hey, I'm not playing with you, bro. Do what I say. So it's very important to keep the promises. It's very important to keep promises in general, but you gotta keep the promises to yourself, man. Because you being able to keep promises to yourself not only builds trust within yourself, but also builds confidence that you're able to keep your word. That you know, hey, I have a track record of saying stuff and then doing what I say. And I have that track record. Because of that, you're gonna trust yourself, you're gonna depend on yourself. Because you know that you're gonna get it done. And there's nothing that you can say that you cannot accomplish. But you have to prove that self. You have to prove that to yourself by doing it. It's that simple. You gotta prove it to yourself by doing it, you know? Another example. I told myself that I'm gonna record these videos and make these videos. I done invested money into this camera. I have to prove it to myself. Don't get me wrong. I don't do this every day, but ever since I bought this camera, I do this very often. Like I told myself I was. Even on days I don't wanna record, I still do it. Days I don't wanna edit, I still edit. Because I told myself, we're gonna do this. And I'm planning on keeping that promise to myself. And because of that, it's gonna build confidence within myself. It's gonna build the trust within myself. And it's gonna help me be a better person, help me be a better man, which I think is very important. And overall, regardless of keeping promises to yourself, keep promises you make to others. That's how people trust you. That's how people are going to trust you. You know, be a man of your word. Me and Trey trying to build a whole brand. A part of that brand is being men of our word and being men of action, you know? I can't say the word I want to say, you know what I mean? Because I ain't trying to do no burpees, but I think you get the gist. Overall, that's pretty much it. Keep your promises to yourself. Keep promises to other people. Be a man of your word. All this is gonna help you build confidence. All this is gonna help you build trust within yourself. And especially when it comes to other people, build trust within other people. People are gonna trust you and they're gonna be able to rely on you. And you always wanna be known as someone who's reliable. Because who wants to be known as someone who's not reliable? Nobody. It's a bad look, Playboy. Very, very bad look. So, camera, can you fix, bro? So, that's pretty much it for my rant. It's been a great day today. Can't complain. Finna go home, play some Madden, take my bike behind the bed. Got work first thing tomorrow morning, baby. We back at it. That being said, I'ma head out. Thank you for watching. I appreciate you. I love you, Brody. Keep your head up. Never stop, baby. Keep pushing. Peace.